Okay, we are live. Scott, you're gonna grab that, or should I? All right, just making sure we're getting everybody under the same tent here. It's gonna be fun. On the 6th of July, my son's birthday. Happy birthday, Dresden. 17.
Happy birthday.
17 years young. He is now in his 18th year. Is my Aunt Kathy? That's where I got the helmet from. My Aunt Kathy. You guys know the story. If you've been with us a long time, you know the story. All right. Welcome in, everybody. It is the Mile High Huddle podcast. I'm your host, Chad Jensen. With me, my fellow football priest. You know him, you love him, Zack Kelberman. Zack, hopefully you've had a great 4th of July weekend, dude. Did you have some success with your cookouts?
Yeah, everything turned out good. No fires. I got on my toes, on my fingers. Everything worked out pretty well. It was relaxing. It was good, but it's another week, another weekend without football, Chad. I'm just counting my days as you are until Broncos training camp.
We are inching closer, though, guys. I mean, I think it was today. Yeah, it was today. The Broncos tweeted on X, posted on X. I guess it's not technically a tweet anymore. Posted on X. Happy Sunday. We're officially one Sunday closer to Broncos football coming back. And it's true. We're still a little bit in a hurry up and wait posture, but time, it does fly. Papa Bear, what's good, brother? Hope you're
Thank you,
doing
man.
well. Still
Thank you.
trending in the right direction. Thank you for being with us as always, brother. As always. And for this super chat support, dude. Thank you, bro. Says, good evening, Broncos country. Training camp begins in 10 days. Hashtag 13 and 4 plus plus plus. I love it. I love it. Yeah, the rookies, again, they report the 16th, the veterans, the 22nd, but then the whole kind of back together, the big things, basically 2 weeks from Saturday, just barely Saturday, or was it Friday? Either way, it's coming soon.
It is, and we have basically 2 or 3 more full real weeks of the off season, the dog days of summer, and then training camp will be here, and then preseason full force, David. Then we jump into the regular season. No one's complaining anymore, us included. So 13 and 4 still sounds good to me. Appreciate you as
Yeah.
always.
So I'm doing my math wrong here. So the rookies 16th, vets 22nd, Friday the 25th and 26th. That's when things really get cooking, where fans will be able to go into it into attendance and check it out, and we'll be in the dog days. Cannot wait, and man, it's going to be a gas. Thank you, Papa Bear. So good to see you tonight, my brother. Just a few hellos here, and we'll get to a few things. David Youngkin, great to see you. Says, I think year 2 under Sean Payton, Bo Nix will surprise everyone. Hashtag 11 and 6 or 12 and 5. Awesome. We got much more to say on that subject here in a moment. Big Earn in the house. Go Broncos country only. Knicks for 6. Great to see you, Big Earn. New Mexico fan, thanks for being with us. Broncos have hit the gas and not let up the entire season. No taking anyone for granted. They need to focus on working as a team, support one another, bring swagger and talent to every game. Well said, brother. Great to see Mike Thompson in the house. And Jason, what's up, dude? Good to see you. Yeah, I won't correct your.
Jason. Yeah.
Yeah. It's all good. It's all good. I don't know. I'm not going to say
There you
anything.
go.
Broncos country. 805 Broncos fans. How come it's not working for me? Self-help books can help. I don't know. There are some drugs available. I'm just joshing. I'm just kidding, dude. We were late, and guess what? Good news, guys. Well, it's not so much good news. It is a slight relief on our part. We're trying to figure out why our show was the only show that was having connectivity issues with StreamYard, why we kept winking out while we were live. And StreamYard finally notified us yesterday, I want to say. Yeah, yesterday, with a big notification basically saying that Chrome, the latest browser updates from Chrome, Firefox, and Edge, so Microsoft, are having bad effects on shows that use green screen backgrounds. Now, what hosts of your Mile High Huddle podcasts, right, use green screens? This show. Now, Mile High Insiders, Tom does use a green screen for his, but he has not been on since this bug started happening with the new updates to these browsers. So I was starting to go crazy going, what the heck is going on? Now we know they are working on a fix. So hopefully here soon we'll be able to use our features as we always have, and it's going to be just A-okay. But, it's going to be – what's up, Ron? Good to see you, brother. It's going to be all right. Hope you're doing well, enjoying the summer and your 4th of July weekend. Zach, to some subject matter here. ESPN's Jeremy Fowler, this was interesting, was on SportsCenter, had something to say about the Broncos. He said, quote, "The Broncos have really urged Bo Nix in the offense to get off to a stronger start. The last 2 years, slow starts coming out of the gate have plagued the offense a little bit. They want to make sure they're primed and ready for the playoffs in December, not scrambling to get in. Last year, they faced a ton of tough defenses early on, so they want Nix to come out firing early in the season. But they feel like this offseason, he showed more of his personality. He's somewhat of a semi-serious guy, especially coming into the league. He wanted the job and to be the guy. Now he's more personable around the quarterback room. Looks like a quarterback going into year 2, fully confident, knows exactly what he's doing," close quote. So, Zach, the Broncos want Bo Nix to come out of the gates firing.
Yeah, as they should. And Sean Payton talked about this too. They got off to a slow start last season. They played 2 of the best defenses in the NFL, 2 of the most formidable opponents in the NFL at Seattle and then at Pittsburgh, home for Pittsburgh. They don't have that issue this season, Chad. They play Tennessee and then Indianapolis, 2 of the lesser defenses in the league. So that right there should give the Broncos a faster start, a more hot start, and more momentum going into the rest of the first quarter of the season. So they should want him to come out firing, but he'll now be able to do so with a more approachable setting.
Honestly, Sean Payton's turnaround of the Broncos has been markedly faster than I expected. I hoped for it to be this fast, but expected it to be a little bit slower. But still, nevertheless, among all the successes, Zach, that he's had as a head coach in Denver now in his 3rd year, the one wart, it has been the slow starts. In 2023, Broncos started 0-3. We're not able to overcome that. I mean, it's hard enough when you start 0-2. In fact, the 2024 Broncos, who also started 0-2, they're one of the very few exceptions. I mean, it happens where 0-2 teams manage to dig themselves out and still go on to make the playoffs. But if you start 0-3, I mean, there's only a couple, 2, 3, handful, let's say, of examples of teams that have pulled that off, turned the ship around, same year, gone to the playoffs. So it's crucial to get that couple of games in, even at the very least, Zach, just don't go 0-2. Just win one of your first 2 games. Exactly. We've gone through the schedule. We think it looks hopefully like a 3-1 first quarter of the season, but just don't lose your first 2 games.
Exactly. We've talked about this almost every year we've been podcasting together before a season, Chad, is the Broncos need to win the games they're supposed to win. And against Indianapolis, against Tennessee, those 2 teams, they're supposed to win those games. They should be 2-0, a lot different. I know it sounds crazy, even though they won 10 games last season, but it's a lot different starting off 2-0 than starting off 0-2, believe it or not.
You know what's crazy is I think it was 2021 was the last time the Broncos started a season 3-0. And yet Vic Fangio's team still collapsed. Remember that? In fact, the 3rd win, MHH was in attendance for the meet and greet against the Jets. And it was like, whoa, maybe this Teddy Bridgewater thing is going to work out. And those chickens came home to roost. Patrick, what's up, brother? Great to see you. Thank you for being with us. The support you show. This pod, all the pods, brother. You're a legend. We love you. It says, aloha, priest and deacon. Yes, in fact, we've got Mr. Producer in the house. On the 1s and 2s, so to speak. Great to see you, Patrick. But yeah, Zach, that's the thing is I think part of it, yes, as Fowler talks about, the Broncos did face some tough defenses early last season, but also they've had a penchant over the years. This is also something that Sean Payton has corrected over time. It hasn't been perfect yet, but they've had that penchant of playing down to their competition. And I would hate to see that happen in the season opener against a rookie quarterback, even though he's the number 1 overall pick and he's probably going to be an NFL success. I would hate to see that happen. The Colts, let's not forget, gave Denver a real run for its money last year at Mile High. And were it not for Jonathan Taylor dropping that ball on the goal line and swinging momentum back Denver's way, we don't know how that game would have shaken out. But Broncos, don't play down to the Titans. Don't play down to the Colts. Put yourself in position at 2-0 to take on, I think, what is it next? Chargers and Bengals?
We always talk about last season, the first two games, but the third game was Tampa Bay, another formidable defense, another game the Broncos were not favored to win. And what happened, Chad? That was almost Bo Nix coming out party. It was one of the earliest inklings that we said to ourselves, wow, this guy could be the franchise quarterback. So I think they've learned from the times they've played down to their competition. And on the upside, they also play up to their level of competition. Chad, in no universe, crazier things have happened for sure. I just can't see, with all the hype in year 2 of Bo Nix, them coming out in week 1 and losing to a rookie quarterback in the Tennessee Titans. I just can't see it happening.
Especially with this defense, man. I mean, if this is really going to be the projected number 1 unit, baby, like they should be licking their chops and eating well in the season opener. I mean, I don't have it right in front of me, but the statistics of rookie quarterbacks, Zach, making their first ever NFL start in the season opener. It's a bleak statistic for those quarterbacks. So we shall see. But I mean, thinking about last year, Bo Nix kind of struggles those first 2 games. Broncos are 0-2. And then you're facing the dreaded, for the Broncos anyway, 2-game East Coast early start road trip. It was looking like, Zach, we were staring down the barrel at 0-4, honestly, because the Bucs were a force to be reckoned with. The Jets were now quarterbacked, had a good defense, smart head coach, wasn't able to keep it all together, but at least a great defensive mind and an offense quarterbacked by Aaron Rodgers. And Sean Payton dug in his heels, dude, said, we shall not go quietly into that good night. And the Broncos balanced the scales 2-2. That was a huge shot of confidence, not only for Bo Nix, I think, Zach, but for the Broncos as a team to realize, okay, yeah, we got this.
Yeah, I would be surprised if it wasn't a blowout. That should be the expectation for week 1, I'm saying, against Tennessee.
Yeah.
I mean, rookie quarterback, nothing against Cam Ward. He maybe could be something in the NFL, could be a good quarterback, but it's not going to happen in week 1 in his first game against the best defense, I think, on paper in the league. So it should be a blowout offense, defense. That's not the question. It's when they play the Eagles, let's say, is it week 4 or 5, whatever, Chad, that's the barometer. Let's see if they can play up to that level of competition.
Just real quick, shifting gears, Rock bringing up how some of Broncos country are still waiting. Not some. Everyone's still waiting for Zadeh Barron to sign his rookie deal with the Broncos. Both he and RJ Harvey, Zach, remain unsigned, but it still seems, I mean, there's a reason why it's tracking this deep into the offseason, but in the final analysis, we'll look back on it as perfunctory. They'll sign their deals. It'll get done. I wouldn't worry about it.
They're not the only rookies. As far as I know, Shamar Stewart from the Bengals hasn't signed either. There's a big, he's making a big deal about that publicly too. So at least Barron and Harvey are keeping it in-house. And yeah, I see no issue going into training camp why those won't get done.
We're just joshing with you, Jason. It's all good, brother. Thank you, pal. Stoked to have you with us tonight. Shouts to Pearl. We got Pearl in the house. Great to see you. Hope you're doing well. Greg's in the house on Facebook. Hey. Good evening, Broncos country. Broncos for life. I love it. William, what's up, dude? He says, I think we can start 3-2 in the first 5 games. I would love it, dude. I mean, I think there's a chance they could do even better than that, Zach. But as a quick refresher of what awaits the Broncos, so we've already touched on week 1 and 2. Week 3 is, in fact, the Chargers on the road. And then home Monday Night Football, Bengals. Then you get the Eagles. On the road, the defending world champs. That one's going to be tough, dude.
Yeah, there's no telling really how they're going to be. It's tough to make these record predictions. I want to see, we talk about Tennessee, we talk about Indy, we talk about the first quarter of the season. Show me. Let's see how they are on the field. Let's see, God forbid, any injuries or the depth chart changes, whatever. They're going to look a lot different on September 6th than July 6th. But there's no reason why they can't run the table, at least mostly so in the middle of the season.
Then you're taken to, we'll see how Sean Payton ultimately chooses to manage the fact that week 5 is on the road, East Coast Eagles, then Jets across the pond. My guess is that they'll leave from Philly and go to London for that. Then you come home and it's the MHH meet and greet, week 7, October 19th, New York Giants. Maybe, hopefully it'll be Russ, but time will tell because they did draft a first-round quarterback and you got Jameis Winston in the house. Then it's the Dallas Cowboys, and that's in Denver. So after that kind of sketchy Eagles on the road and then across the pond, even though it's the Jets, you're going across the pond, and by that point, Zach will have been away from home quite a while. They're rewarded with a 2-game homestand against a pair of NFC East teams.
Yeah, those are going to be barometer games, as will the primetime game. I mean, you mentioned it, the Jaden Daniels Commanders game. That's going to be, to me, Bo Nix versus Jaden, another one just like the Philly one. And again, we'll see, though, at the time how they respond, how they look.
Let's see here. We got Big Earn says Broncos go 11-0 before they lose one. Man, wouldn't that be amazing?
That'd be amazing. Yeah.
That would be so cool. Love your confidence. Love your optimism, brother. Diablo says Nix's 29 touchdowns last year went to 10 different, quote, bottom of the league skill players. I love it, dude. According to PFF and many others. This year, I believe we're in for some serious fun. Yeah, dude. Not only bottom of the league caliber skill players, but this year, those guys, I mean, first of all, they got a lot of great experience. Bo did, obviously, but the guys around him, you had a lot of young guys, Zach. The Broncos had to go young because of the cap issues.
Right.
So you had guys like Marvin Mims, Troy Franklin, Devon Vele, who were leaned upon a lot in the passing game. And they're being augmented now by the addition of a 2-time Pro Bowl tight end in Evan Ingram. And, of course, J.K. Dobbins coming in as a veteran presence in the running back room, and R.J. Harvey, one of the 2 most explosive running backs in college football last year. He and Ashton Genty. Is it any surprise, Zach, that those were the 2 running backs Sean Payton and the Broncos coveted in the draft?
Not at all. And I love that Diablo puts it in quotes here. I love that you chuckled, Chad, because I did too, about bottom of the league skill players. All the PFFs and all the national outlets and the pro football networks and this and that. They still dogged the Broncos, but it was so bad last season, and especially with Bo Nix. They trashed everyone. They had nothing. Vele wasn't a good player. He looked pretty rock solid for the most part. Troy Franklin is going to be a bust. He caught a touchdown in the postseason. They didn't have a running game for sure. You could dog him for that. But like you said, they drafted a running back in Harvey. You sign one in Dobbins. You like Estime. You like Watson, Bidet. They're not so bottom of the league, but people still want to believe that that's their prerogative. They're going to learn like they did in 24 this coming season.
No doubt about it. No doubt. We got Rock saying, Bo Nix will command the huddle, put his teammates in the right place on the field. I love it, dude. Yeah,
sure.
I mean, all accounts, Bo Nix is, I mean, you put yourself in his shoes. Last year, yes, he's old for a rookie, relatively speaking. 5 years of college football will do that for a quarterback. But that age, fortunately, came with a lot of experience, right? When he entered the league, he was the all-time most experienced starting quarterback in the draft history at the time. That's since been broken. I think it was the dude who succeeded him at Oregon. What's his name, dude? I'm the lefty, the southpaw, Dylan Gabriel. I think now has the record of the most career starts, but I digress. When Bo Nix arrived last year, Zach, it was not only about assimilating, learning the scheme, acclimating to the speed of the game, all that stuff that any rookie quarterback has to, but fight for a job, all that stuff. He wins the job. He becomes a team captain. And from there, as a leader, you're still a rookie. Pardon me. Even though you've been named a team captain, you got to earn your stripes, so to speak, and get your teammates to buy in and believe in you. And I think it's safe to say by season's end, he had earned that buy-in and belief from his guys.
And again, everything you said is true, but not just learn any offense, a Sean Payton offense. It's a Cheesecake Factory menu, Chad. It's one of the most complex in the NFL. Not easy for any quarterback. And I still go back to the Huddle incident where he was frustrated, Bo Nix. He got a play call, and he was like, all right, hang on a second, because it was just so long. It was like literally 15 seconds long. So all the hurdles he overcame, playoff record, 10-7 record. Gotta love the fact that they've got better around him and he's more comfortable. Like he said, he's not thinking anymore. He's just going out there and playing, not reacting, not being tentative. He's good going out there and playing ball. That's where you want your franchise quarterback to be.
So he's not the rookie anymore. He's got that 17 games of regular season experience plus a taste of playoff action. So he's significantly more battle tested. That's going to boost his confidence because he also, amidst that experience, had a lot of success. I mean, rewrote the entire franchise rookie record book when it comes to passing statistics, second most passing touchdowns in NFL history. in a quarterback class, Zach, that is being still held as maybe the next quote unquote Hall of Fame class with 6 guys going in the first round, Bo being the last of them. How sweet was it that he ends up going on to lead them all in all the statistics, dude? Everything.
Yep.
Passing yards, passing touchdowns, total touchdowns, the gamut. I mean, Jaden Daniels, there's a reason why he won Offensive Rookie of the Year. He did have him beat in a few key areas statistically, I'm saying. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I know rating and a few other things. He had, he didn't have the same slow start. And a lot of his big performances were on the national stage. And so there's a lot of explanations leading to, plus he was the number 2 overall pick. Draft pedigree does mean something. But how sweet was that? Last quarterback drafted in the first round of 6 goes on to beat them all out in terms of production.
Jaden was also better at one thing. He had a better supporting cast. And I hate to sound like that. It sounds like a loser mentality, but it's true. If you gave Bo Nix the weapons that Jaden had, Bo Nix would have had an even better rookie campaign. But I think they're both going to be tremendous NFL quarterbacks, and I'm very happy, as are you, Chad, that the Broncos have one of them.
No doubt about it. Gene, what's up, my brother? Great to see you. He says, what's up, boys? I can't wait to see the young guys eat. Only 9 more Sundays. Yeah, dude. And it'll, like I said, we're still a couple, 2-3 weeks from the real cleats hitting the grass, so to speak. But from there, dude, Zach, it's going to be the whirlwind, right? Because we're going to have every day something going on, training camp practices, joint practices, preseason games. Before you know it, we'll be in September. And, basically that's why when you get to the back together Saturday, I think it is, of training camp this year, man, that's when we're off to the races.
I say it a lot, but we always ruminate about how long the offseason feels, and it takes forever to get to a certain point. And then we get to that point, the next one takes forever. But we're in one of those funks right now, and I guarantee you, Gene and everyone, we're going to be at training camp before we know it, and then we're going to be at week 6 of the regular season before we know it. And then the season's going to be over before we know it. So just enjoy the ride, enjoy the journey, because the destination is going to be fantastic.
Gene, brother, great to see you. Looking forward to hanging and being able to spend more time hanging at the meet and greet. It's going to be so fun, bro. Troy, thanks for checking in, pal. Says, finally caught you guys live. Just stopping by to say hello. Hit the damn like button is what he's trying to say. Appreciate that, buddy. Thank you, Troy. And yeah, guys, hit the like button. Helps us out. Big bad way. We got someone here we know well, Mike Thompson, saying, I still don't believe in Audric Estime. Well, it would seem, Mike, you're not alone, dude. It would seem that the Broncos have their doubts, Zach, in Audric Estime, as evidenced by the addition at the 11th hour of J.K. Dobbins.
This is a topic that you and I might be a little split on, Chad, because even before they drafted Harvey and they signed Dobbins, I didn't see that much from Estime personally last season to say, wow, he warrants a no doubt a certain spot as the Broncos' unquestioned starter. He looked like a backup running back. He looked like a rotational running back. Nothing against him, but that's his skill set. So, Mike, I'm with you. I'm happy the Broncos also agree with this notion. He's not going to ever be Derrick Henry or anyone like that, or even a David Montgomery. And isn't that the goal? If you want to be a Super Bowl winning offense or a commanding elite offense, you have to have a dominant running game. I just don't think Estime is that horse to fuel that operation.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with you in terms of what he has, how he has performed, what he's looked like. He's looked like a backup power back, basically.
Right.
And the only time my kind of vibe on Estime had flipped was literally days before they signed Dobbins, when Sean Payton's at the podium saying, yeah, listen, Estime is the kind of back who needs to get fed in the games to kind of get his head of steam and get into a groove and a rhythm. And then boom, you start seeing the results. We weren't able to fully, follow through on that his rookie year for whatever reasons. This year, he's going to get those opportunities. And it's a quintessential, perfect, epitomized, Mr. Producer likes to say this a lot, not what they say, not what they say, but what they do. Right. But this time of year, Zach, we're kind of stuck with what they say. There isn't much doing to be done. So we kind of have to hinge on what they're saying. We end up reading into it perhaps more than we should. And in that case, I was like, okay, well, I guess they don't need a J.K. Dobbins who's still chilling out there. And then all of a sudden, Nick Chubb gets signed. And before you know it, they pounce on Dobbins.
Yeah, they obviously, Mike, they view Estime. Maybe it's someone they're going to hold on to, someone they see some value in, either now or down the road, but he's obviously a backup. That's why you drafted one. That's why you signed one. And everything he showed last year was of a backup. And it's crazy, Chad, because any semblance of a decent running back play would have been looking even better considering how bad they were as a collective. And even despite that, nothing from Estime. It was 3.5 yards on a cloud of dust. It was CJ Anderson late career. Nothing spectacular.
No doubt. George, what's up, bro? Great to see you on Facebook. Thank you for your support as always, my friend. Thanks again, he says, for another great pod. The best coverage of the Broncos, Broncos for life, MHH for life. Hit the thumbs up.
Thank you,
so
George.
Good to see you. And thank you for the reminder for everybody. Yeah, hit that like button, guys. It helps us out a lot. Mike, following up his Estime comment with, I'm really excited about Harvey. And once again, I'll say, you're not the only one. I mean, everybody in Broncos country is pretty excited about him. That's not what I mean. I think it was Friday I wrote about ESPN, one of their fantasy guru guys, Eric Moody, tapping Harvey as a player to target in fantasy this year. Here's what he said. This is Eric Moody of ESPN. Quote, drafted 60th overall by the Broncos, Harvey landed in one of the best environments for running back production. He mentioned something here, Zach, real quick. He mentioned something I'm about to read that I did not know. I learned something here. Back to what he said. Quote, head coach Sean Payton's offense has long emphasized running back involvement in the passing game. Broncos backs, get this, have a league high 226 receptions over the past 2 seasons. And Harvey is projected to lead the backfield in touches while taking over as Denver's primary receiving back. Harvey has a smaller frame at 5'8", 205 pounds. As Sean Payton would say, I wouldn't call him small. He might not be tall, but he's not small. But he ran a 4.40 at the combine, which ranked 4th amongst running backs, and was 2nd in his draft class, Zach, in runs of 10-plus yards in 2024, close quote. So we know, and we've talked a lot about it this offseason, how he was explosive. He and Genty basically led FBS in explosive runs last season. I did not know that over the past 2 seasons, Bronco backs have led the league in receptions, 226. Zach, yes, Sean Payton loves using running backs in the passing game, but a league leading number and this was with a unit, Zach, that as we know has been relatively lackluster, like nobody's writing home about it. If that pace continues, and we have every reason to believe that it will, Harvey and Dobbins, they're gonna catch some balls this year.
Right. Yeah, I didn't know that either. And it's surprising, but it's not stunning. That's a Sean Payton offense. He's going to throw the ball to the running backs a lot. And it's what are the running backs going to do with it, if anything? And that's where I feel like, dovetailing off the Estime conversation, I don't think that Sean Payton thought that Estime could do anything with the ball in his hand. This is why I was such a big proponent of the Broncos acquiring Trey Henderson in the draft, because he's such a good pass catching running back, and he would have been so dynamic, and he could have been the Thunder and the Lightning setup with Dobbins in hindsight now. So Harvey's a good plan B, and he's going to be explosive, whereas Estime just can't provide that. It's not in his skill tree.
Byron Lewis jumping in with a generous super chat.
Thank you,
guy
Byron,
who has been a super chat superstar here at MHH for a long time. Byron, so good to see you tonight, brother. Thank you for the support. It means the world to us. You know this. Byron says, it's been a while. Finally caught a show again. Do you think PJ Locke will be cut, and will Bo Nix lead us to AFC West championship this year? Broncos for life. 100. First and foremost, Zach, what's your answer for him on the PJ Locke front? In case you guys missed it, we learned last week via Locke himself on his YouTube channel that he's had a spinal fusion surgery, lower back, so L4 and 5. That happened back in, I think it was January. So he's 5-6 months down the road of his recovery, no pain, feeling like it's been a blessing and a miracle. So with that stage being thusly set, your answer for Byron.
Yeah, we just talked about PJ, and I wished him well, and it's crazy what he went through. I hope he gets back on the field soon. But I'm looking at this realistically and financially, and I was off about the cap number that he had, the cap savings the Broncos could have if they cut him either pre or post June 1st. Chad, they would say $4.19 million and only $1 million in dead money. by moving on from PJ Locke. It's almost like you have Hufanga, you have Brandon Jones, you have some of the other young safeties that hopefully that you're excited about. I just think Locke is expendable, and I would like to have that money, point blank, period. So I think he should be cut, Byron. I don't know if he will be cut, but I'm taking that money if I can. Thank you again for your contribution.
On one hand, and we'll also answer your Bo Nix thing, trust. But on one hand, I go, well, you just paid a big contract to Hufanga. Do you need Locke? Well, Hufanga's got an injury history. So in a vacuum, you go, it might be smart to keep an experienced starting caliber guy like Locke around.
Not at that money.
Flip side is he's not healthy. So if the insurance isn't healthy, then how insurance, it's not sure, right? So, but the bottom line on this, I think, Zach, is it depends on how healthy Locke is this summer. If there are any setbacks, if he's not able to get in and compete, whatever, delays in his time this summer, training camp, I'm talking training camp and preseason, to get in the muss and compete and hold down that number 3 spot, then I could see them going, yeah, let's save the money. Adios. But I think also, Zach, a part of that would be how are the younger safeties coming on? Like
Sure.
JL Skinner. We still have, isn't Delrin Turner-Yell still on the roster?
He is, yeah.
All right. Plus Keydron. No, I think they moved on from Keydron. Did they? No, there's Keydron's still there. And then who's the new guy they signed, that the big special teams? He's a
Mario.
Franklin. No, not the corner. Here, let me pull it up.
Sam Franklin.
Sam Franklin. So if one or a couple of those guys start balling out while Locke is still licking his wounds and getting back on his feet, yeah, I would say probably fait accompli that they eventually pull the plug on him. But it really depends, in my opinion, Zach, on how quickly he's on the field doing his thing, which, by the way, I mean, 6 months after a spinal fusion, I'm not sure he should be playing football, dude. Like, are you sure? My friend Jeff, he would say this a lot. Some of you guys have met him at the meet and greets. Are you sure? And when Jeff says that, it's a big signal from the universe, basically, to rethink what you're doing.
If he's still hurt, he might need an injury settlement if the Broncos want to cut him, I'm pretty sure. And if not, if he wants to come to terms on a pay cut, a pay reduction at a smaller base salary, fine. But I'm just saying, plus north of $4 million in cap savings for a number 3 safety, I'm grabbing that if I can.
Doug, great to see you on Facebook tonight, my brother. Hope you are doing well. We appreciate you being with us. Thank you for the support, my brother. Now, Zach, as for Byron's second question about is Bo Nix going to lead the Broncos to an AFC West championship this year, what do you say?
I kind of teased it. I think it was last night or sometime soon. Said it could be a championship winning season, not necessarily a Super Bowl championship season for the Broncos, but that's the sneaky dark horse narrative now, Chad, is look out for the Broncos in the AFC West. It's the Chiefs aren't so secure atop the perch in that mountaintop, and rightfully so. We talk about it every time, or at least I rant about it every time, that the Broncos should have swept Kansas City in 2024. They should have beaten them in their own house. We know how the second game went, but they outplayed them in the first game, at least in the second half. So I think they can go toe-to-toe. And as we always talk about, it's not necessarily, Byron, how they do against KC twice a year. It's how they're doing against the other teams in the AFC field. It's how they're doing against Baltimore and Buffalo and Cincinnati and all those others, even Houston, CJ Stroud. Then we'll see.
I want to say yes, bro. I want to say yes, but it's not just that you have to vanquish the Chiefs. I mean, the Chargers, let's not forget, finished second in the AFC West and swept the Broncos last year. So this is not me trying to throw cold water on anybody's party here. Like, I'm right there with you. I want to believe that this is the year the Broncos seize back the AFC West. I'd feel a lot more confident in that hope and that optimism if it was only the Chiefs. And that's still saying something. This is the team that's been the conference champions for 3 straight years. If it was only the Chiefs, I'd feel a lot more confident. But when you're talking about now a Justin Herbert team that is coached by Jim Harbaugh, swept the Broncos, it just puts a little bit of doubt in my gut on whether or not they win the division. Again, I'm hopeful. I'm optimistic. I want it to happen. I'm just not sure yet. And the whole thing, honestly, the season, everybody's hopes, whether we win we're talking about AFC West champions, it really all hinges on Bo Nix, not just avoiding the sophomore slump. I think it's a near guarantee that he will not, just because not only what we know about Bo Nix, but the presence of Sean Payton. He's not going to take a big step back in year 2. It's Bo Nix. Can you carry the water and take multiple steps forward from what you've already established and really be that guy? I mean, they'll go the Broncos. They'll have the defense. That's nothing new. This has been a defensive-oriented team since 2014. And this, I mean, you could maybe say 2015, but that's been the bread and butter, right? Hasn't been enough. It never is, dude. I mean, there are always the 2, 3, 4 exceptions across the history of the NFL, Zach, that prove the rule, like your 85 Bears and your we can go on, but the 2000 Ravens, etc. Even some people argue the 2015 Broncos, but running game, all that stuff, yeah, we want the defense, we want the run game, but it really comes down to Bo Nix, Zach. And my confidence in Bo is so high, I got to say to Byron, yeah, dude, Broncos can win the AFC West this year.
We mentioned the foes. You brought up the Chargers, the Ravens, who the Broncos got in a blowout loss against, the Bengals, the Ravens, all these major AFC pillars. The Broncos crapped their pants against last season for the most part. Buffalo in the playoffs, that was a blowout, But the only one to show up in those games, Cincinnati, was Bo Nix. In the second half of the Cincinnati game, they should have went for 2, and Bo brought him back. Sean Payton, kind of playing to lose. The Chargers, the defense fell apart. Who was the only one going in a shootout toe for toe with Herbert? Bo Nix. Even in Baltimore, Chad, Bo Nix caught a touchdown pass. The rookie quarterback caught and out-muscled. So he always shows up, win or lose, elite foe or crappy team. I'm not worried about Bo. I'm hoping that Sean has the stones when necessary to really allow Bo, Chad, to be Bo.
Still such a disappointment they didn't go for 2 in that moment, dude, against the Bengals.
Going like this? Oh.
Yeah, come on, man. Come on, dude. Interesting. So shout out to let me pull it up. Hold on. I got to remind myself of this. Everybody knows Shiloh, one of our Super Chat superstars, Shiloh Heesh. He sent, I'm not going to pull it up, but he sent me a video showcasing the top 10 deepest throws, air yards wise, in the NFL since 2016. And you remember all those tropes about Bo Nix has an average NFL arm or he can't make all the throws, et cetera, et cetera. Well, guess who has the singular pass with the most air yards in the NFL since 2016? Bo Nix. And it was that first, if you guys can think back to that Bengals game, it was that first touchdown pass to Marvin Mims. Something like 67 something air yards, if I recall, over the top. I mean, he threw it from like his 35, about 5 yards into the end zone, over the top, touchdown Marvin Mims. So I want to see more of that, baby. I want to see the explosives. I want to see that arm. Let's go.
I'm a grown man, Chad. I've watched and covered a lot of professional football, but when he completed that bomb in the Bengals game, I jumped up off my couch and screamed. It was one of the best throws I've ever seen. And it just because it dismantled, like you said, the narrative that Bo can't do it. With that one throw, Bo showed that he's capable like everybody else.
Good to see you, Clayton, saying smash the like button and share, guys. Appreciate the support. Jason says, last year, quite a few of us cleaned up, taking the Broncos over in the wins, the over-under set at 5.5. This year, the play is win the AFC West at plus 300. Broncos can win it this year. I love it. Can they? Yes. Will they? We shall see. I want to believe, baby. I want to believe. Diablo says, with our defense, I'm getting vibes of the 15 squad. Would not be surprised if they win us a few games again. Wouldn't be surprised either, dude. But think about this. Here's what I want to see this year. And it sounds ridiculous. It almost sounds fantastical, but it's not. What if you took the 2015 Broncos defense and teamed it up with the 2014 Peyton Manning offense? I'm not talking the 2013 where it's all the records, 606 points, 55 touchdowns. I'm saying one of the best offenses in the NFL. Peyton passes for like 39 touchdowns. They score a heck of a lot of points in 2014. Take that offense with the 2015 defense, you've got a juggernaut that would be unstoppable. And that's the goal, is to be that dominant on both sides of the ball. And with the Broncos, not only do they have a good chance of fielding, I would say, top 10 in both categories, offense and defense, can they get top 5 in both? I think it's a possibility. I'm not going to get out over my skis like promising it or guaranteeing it, but it's out there. And then throw in, Zach, the fact that this remains one of the best special teams units in the NFL, buttoned down. Might not be Dave Tobe and the Chiefs level special teams, but Darren Rizzi coming in, one of the most coveted coaches in the special teams game. I mean, if the stars align, I mean, all the pieces are there. What I'm saying, Zach, we could be staring at a juggernaut. And plus, you're coached by a guy who has won a Super Bowl. Like, the circumstantial evidence is there. Like, if we're Sherlock Holmes on the trail, we're trying to find the perpetrator. We're seeing the pieces.
Yeah, the only issue to me with the expectation of being a juggernaut is the expectation of being a juggernaut. It's a lot of pressure for a second-year quarterback, and for Sean Payton, I have no doubt he could do it. But the good thing is, though, too, is that they're not that far off. They don't have to be elite. They don't have to be record-breaking to make a run in the postseason. They won 10 games. They got up on Buffalo in the wild card round, and they didn't have a running game. They got Bo Nix one. They didn't have a tight end or safety valve. They got him one, and they got him Pat Bryant too. They were missing some pieces against the run on defense. They brought back DJ Jones. They brought in Greenlaw. They brought in Talanoa. He brought in Zadeh Barron. So everything got better on that side of the ball. So if they're just a little better from what they were last year, they can win 12, 13 games and really make pose a serious threat in the AFC.
Mike says, if our defense stays healthy, we will win the West and the Super Bowl. I love it, dude. I want to grab this from Ronald, who says, you guys were talking about running back. I think Tyler Bidet will be gone. Probably. Yeah. I mean, I would say it's a virtual guarantee he won't make the 53-man roster out of camp. However, it's going to be interesting to see which of those two guys on the back end of the depth chart, so Bidet and Blake Watson, maybe both, who knows, do they end up wanting to keep around on the practice squad. But I agree with you, Ronald. Bidet, he had his window, had some really bad luck getting injured in the game where he was going to be the guy. And it cost him what remained of the season. Broncos have since made multiple changes and moves. That's in the rear view. I don't see him, Zach, out-earning, for example, Jaleel McLaughlin. I mean, I guess there's a potential that Audric Estime just continues to kind of slide, and that could benefit Bidet. But I don't see Bidet making it out of camp. I see him probably sticking around on the practice squad and being like a call-up type situation that they do nowadays.
Yeah, this is probably a bad barometer, but you can attest, Chad. We've poured through every single quote, every single letter and word of the transcripts that the Broncos sent us for potential stories. And I can tell you that I've seen Bidet mentioned a lot more than Blake Watson was. And specifically what stands out to me recently, it was after a minicamp practice, I think, Peyton said that Bidet is good in pass protection. Correct me if I'm wrong, Chad, but it's comments like that would lead me to believe that if we were doing a depth chart for July, that Bidet would be ahead of Blake, but that's for training camp to determine.
Yes, indeed. In fact, off the top of my head, I don't recall Blake Watson's name being mentioned by Sean Payton.
No.
I could be wrong, but they paid him quite a lot as a college free agent last year, which basically guaranteed him some kind of a role with the team. He didn't make the roster out of camp, but he stuck around on the practice squad and eventually found himself on the roster late in the season. But I don't see it. I don't see it happening for him. Jason says the vibes of the 15 defense have that same feeling. The fact they should be able to lean on a defense, and the fact that Bo is special. It's a really good formula. Yes, it is. And you throw into that again the coaching acumen of Sean Payton, the reliability of the third phase, including your kicker, including your punt and kick coverage, which kick coverage is going to be even more important this year. And then also an upgrade in punter, where that leg, I'm telling you guys, I've seen it in person. Crawshaw is a weapon, dude. Like he's so accurate. Not only he's got the big leg, but he's freaky accurate. So It spells good things, but at the same time, I understand what William's saying here. I won't count my chickens before they've hatched. Indeed, I hear you. But I feel like perhaps, Zach, when it comes to the Denver Broncos, last year proved that the tide has turned. They've been led out of the desert, so to speak.
Yeah, I think I see no reason why they're not going to continue to ascend. I know it's July and we have nothing else to talk about. Really quickly, going back to the bidet thing, we also forget, Chad, how well he looked before that injury. And I just looked up his stats. He was averaging 7.8 yards a rush before that. I mean, he looked like he could be something. I saw more glimpses and flashes with him than I saw with Audric Estime. So I wouldn't be so quick to say he's a practice squad running back.
I got to remind myself real quick what his, where is he? 5'8", 197. So he's basically RJ Harvey minus 10 pounds. Minus 10 pounds, which is saying something. I mean, 10 pounds at that size means a lot. But guys, we're at the 2-minute warning. Any burning topics, any burning supers, questions, get them in the chat. We will get them before we dip on out of here. Mike says, Zach, because of his 142 yards in Tampa Bay. Talking about the average.
Okay, he had 9 rushes for 70 yards in that game. That's 7.8 yards a carry. I just think that's pretty good for a little known running back. I'm not saying he's going to crack the 53. My argument, though, is if we're talking about Tyler Bidet for Blake Watson for the 53, and based on what he said about pass protection as well, I would have to think that Bidet has the slight edge. I would like to see what he could have done if not for the injury. That's all I was saying.
Okay, as a fun little laugh, some comic relief to kind of close with here tonight. I don't know if you guys saw this article I wrote yesterday, but get a load of this. All right, Pro Football Network has a writer by the name of Brandon Austin. God bless him. Bless his heart. I'm not trying to dunk on him. But he decided to go through, Zach, and rank the top 10 offenses in the NFL since the year 2000. All right. He had the 2013 Broncos. They weren't ranked first. They weren't ranked second. They weren't even ranked in the top 5. They were tied, get this, 10th with the, wait for it, ... FU moments later. 2020 Tennessee Titans, okay? Here's what, and now one thing I'll throw out there before I serve this over to you, Zach.
Yeah.
The metrics were heavily, to quote him, heavily weighted accordingly, by Pro Football's Network's offense plus metric. Not the rankings weren't based solely on those metrics, but weighted by the metrics. Nevertheless, real quick, here's his top 10. Number 1, since 2000, offenses. 2020 Packers, 07 Patriots, 04 Colts, 2019 Ravens, 2011 Saints, 2018 Chiefs. At number 7, Zach, ahead of the 2013 record, still holding, they still own that record, Broncos, the 2024 Detroit Lions. 06 Colts. At number 9, the 2011 Patriots. And then tied at number 10, the 2020 Titans and the 2013 Denver Broncos. I could read to you what he said, but what's the point? What are your thoughts?
My thoughts are like any metrics that come from an L that starts with PF is BS. And it's basically saying, here's my opinion about something. Here's my top 10. Here's my list. And to justify it, here's the data that I just created out of my you-know-what. And I just pulled out of my you-know-what. It's just all subjective, Chad. It's all people's opinions. And it's stuff that we wouldn't be talking about if it wasn't July 6th. So to the thing that we talked about, I think it was David that mentioned how close we are to training camp. Soon enough, all this won't matter.
My prosecution of this case rested on 3 arguments. All right. And there's a lot more. I mean, I could go on, but why the 2013 Broncos not only are the best offense of all time, but certainly the best offense since the year 2000. First of all, 606 points in that season remain the most all time. All right. The previous points all time was the 07 Patriots. The Broncos utterly demolished their previous standard, which had survived for like 6 years, something like that. But 606 points, that alone. Then you got Manning's tour de force of a season where he passes for 55 touchdowns, 5,477 yards. They're both still records. Although I almost forgot, Drew Brees came 1 yard away from tying it. How Sean Payton missed that, I don't know. And then the third one being, Zach, you had 5 skill position players that weren't a quarterback post double-digit touchdowns, 10 or more touchdowns. Demaryius Thomas, Eric Decker, Wes Welker, Julius Thomas, and Noshawn Moreno. It was the bet. No, there's never been an offense, based on my research, never been an offense that has had 5 skill players with double-digit touchdowns in a single season. What is this guy smoking? And like you said, we wouldn't even be talking about it if this wasn't, July 6th and we're only a couple weeks out from camp, but it still gets my gourd a little bit.
Whatever this dude's smoking, I kind of want a puff of it, Chad, because it seems like it's the good stuff. And again, though, it's coming from the nether regions. That's his source here. That's where he's citing his material. Trust me, bro. It's the data. It's these rankings. It's the metrics. He can have his opinion, but I think we all know it's a little misguided.
All right. Hopefully you guys got a belly laugh out of that as we did. We've got a couple messages for you, then we're going to dip. Don't leave quite yet.
Tremendous episode, as always, of the Mile High Huddle podcast. If you're not doing so, please follow us on X at the MHH Pod. You can follow the main account on X at Mile High Huddle, Chad at Chad and Jensen, myself at Kelberman NFL, and Scott, our producer, at Scout Kennedy. If you guys want some merch like we're rocking each and every single podcast, check out MHHmerch.com. Get you some. If you haven't done so, please drop us a like at Facebook.com/Mile High Huddle Pod. You can find us on Instagram at mile_high_huddle. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, make sure you're leaving your football pre-save 5-star review for a chance to win some merch each and every single month. But if anything, y'all, please, very important that you subscribe, you like, you share this video and every video you see on the MHH channel. It really helps us grow and reach more Broncos fans just like you.
All right, guys, a mile high salute and a special shout out to the great Super Chat superstars and supporters helping us literally keep the lights on this deep into the off season. We're talking about the likes of legends like the Papa Bear, David McElrath, the Ronk. Everybody knows the Ronk. Patrick Wiltsey, brother. Gene William, a living legend. George Fox, been with us for years. Doug Raquel, been with us for years. Byron Lewis for years, dude. Thank you, guys. We love you, appreciate you. And we could take tomorrow off because that's what a lot of people in our business are doing right now. They're just kind of not doing anything. But we will be here tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Mountain, 8 p.m. Eastern. Can't wait to see you then.
Have a great rest of your Sunday. We'll see you tomorrow night. Take care. And as always, go Broncos.